2020. I'm going to call it to order, and for the official time, it's 2:05. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Roybal. Chair Roybal.
I'm present.
Commissioner Hanson.
Present.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Here.
Commissioner Garcia.
Here via Zoom, thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Moreno.
Yes, here.
All present, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. So for our next two items, we have the Pledge of Allegiance and the State Pledge. So I'm going to go ahead and lead the Pledge of Allegiance and the State Pledge. And then we have a moment of reflection, and that will be given to us by Chris Vallasa. So if we'll all rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Okay, and so now we're going to go into our moment of reflection. Mr. Vallasa, are you here? Tessa Jo, is Mr. Vallasa here?
It doesn't, his name isn't showing up.
Chris Bison, he's with GIS, and I'm looking to see if maybe he's with one of the other directors.
Yes, I unmuted the phones and I unmuted Penny Ellis Green.
Okay. So it doesn't look like we have Mr. Vallasa present, is that correct?
No, I can fill in if you'd like me to.
I'm sure that'd be great. I was going to volunteer to do it, but since you beat me to it.
Okay, let us take a moment to focus on the work ahead of us today, being ever mindful of our decisions and in the best interest of our community. We take a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Rudy, if I may do a couple of announcements.
I believe Commissioner Hanson, I believe that Commissioner Garcia was speaking, and then we'll go to you.
Mr. Chair, thank you. First and Families, actually, the young gentleman that got shot, Mr. JB, for his grandma and his mom and his family, that unfortunately it was a sad thing that happened up in Santa Fe County. So if we can pray for his families. Also for the ex-city councilor, Ms. Whitten. She was a city councilor for many, many years, and she actually passed away in the last 4 or 5 days. And actually for a good friend of mine, Tommy Montoya, the Montoya family, as Commissioner Hanson knows, is they own the feed store there. They live next to the old Agua Fria school, and my buddy was like 43 years old, and he passed away like 4 days ago, and this for his family. So if we can have a moment of silence for that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Hanson, did you have additional?
I do. Thank you very much, Chair Roybal. I first want to mention that Christine Michelle Varela who was Lucky Varela's niece, and Jeff Varela's daughter passed away recently on July 24th. And she was born on April 3rd, 1987. And both of them had a connection to the village. And then I also want to mention Martha Trujillo, who was also a member of the village of Agua Fria, and I would like us to remember both of these two women. And I am very sorry for their family's loss and for the passing of Margaret Trujillo and Christine Michelle Varela.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Hanson. I also have a couple of people that I would like to mention for just have a moment of silence. A couple of constituents that have passed away recently, and this was funerals that were held the last couple of days. The first one is Tommy M. Martinez. He was a resident of La Puebla and a pastor there. He was 59 years old. He always had a great sense of humor, very friendly. He's actually my brother's father-in-law, and he did pass away on August 4th. Also, I believe that I had a relative that, an actual sister or cousin-in-law that her husband passed away, and his name was Javier Lorenzo, and I think he may have been one of our officers at the detention center. So I just want to also recognize him. He was 44 years old, so I just want to also ask for a moment of silence for him as well. Any other mentions from any other commissioners? Okay, with that, we'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, thank you, commissioners. And on the last moment of silence, I did think I said Javier Lorenzo, but it's Javier Lorenzo Blea. Okay, thank you, commissioners. Okay, so we're going to go on to our next item on the agenda. And this is going to be the approval of the agenda. Is there any changes or amendments to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Manager Miller?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, we posted the agenda on last Tuesday at 2 o'clock, but we amended the agenda on Friday, August 7th at 4:48 p.m. And there's just a couple of items that we added at that time. Under item 7A, matters from the county attorney, items 2 and 4 were added. And we also will not be discussing item 3 today and under that same item. So we'll just have items 1, 2, and 4, but items 2 and 4 were added when we amended the agenda on Friday.
And this is under item number 7, matters from the county attorney, correct?
Correct, 7A.
Thank you. Thank you, Manager Miller. Any other changes or suggestions for the agenda? I know sometimes commissioners want to move things forward, but if there isn't, then I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Hamilton?
I would move to approve the agenda as amended.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Hamilton, and the second, I believe, came from Commissioner Garcia, or is it Commissioner Moreno?
Moreno.
Commissioner Moreno, thank you, sir. Okay, so I'm going to go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Hanson? Commissioner Hanson?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Hamilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Moreno?
Yes.
Okay, and a yes from Commissioner Roybal. The agenda passes unanimously. Okay, so we have an approved agenda. Next, we're going to move on to item number G, and this is the approval of the July 14th, 2020 Board of County Commissioners regular meeting minutes. Commissioner Hanson, did you have any changes? Or did
I
you
do.
submit them? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have changes, and I would like to move to approve with the changes, and I will give them to Karen, the stenographer, after the meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanson. And we have a motion from Commissioner Hanson and a second from Commissioner Hamilton. I'm going to go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Hanson,
Yes.
Commissioner Moreno,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
and a yes from Commissioner Roybal. So this item also passes unanimously, and this is the approval of the regular commissioner meeting minutes of July 14th, 2020. So we're going to go on to item number H, and this is the approval of the July 23rd, 2020 Board of County Commissioners special meeting. Do we have any changes?
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Hanson?
Yes, I have one change, and with that, I would like to make a motion to approve with the changes, and I will provide them to the stenographer after the meeting.
Okay, so thank you, Commissioner Hanson. Are there any other changes? We do have a motion. Are there any other changes? Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
So we have multiple seconds from Commissioner Moreno and Commissioner Hamilton. I'm going to go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Moreno?
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Hanson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
And a yes from Commissioner Roybal. So we do have the approved Board of County Commissioners special meeting approval for the July 23rd, 2020 meeting minutes. We're going to go on to our next item, which is item number 2. And this is appointments and reappointments. This is an action item. And basically, it's the appointment of Tabry Moorhead as a trustee for Edgewood Esquin Arena. I'm going to go to Miss Anna War.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. A little background to this is Santa Fe County owns an outdoor arena in Edgewood that also has a walking trail that constituents use not just to walk, they actually take their horses on the trail. And then it has some public restrooms there. It used to be managed by the town of Edgewood until earlier this year. And so we are looking to have a trustee similar to what we do with the community centers who could open and close the facility. The arena itself can be used for events, which right now, due to COVID-19, are closed to the public. But the trails, the walking trail and trails used for constituents to ride their horses, we have opened. We would still be working on sort of a policy and procedures to move forward with this facility, but the first step was getting a trustee out there. Ms. Moorhead actually lives right across from the arena and is very interested and eager to volunteer. So with your approval, we would like to approve Ms. Moorhead as the trustee for the Edgewood Equestrian Arena. And with that, I stand for any questions.
Okay, great. Ms. War, we really appreciate, I think sometimes the public doesn't realize all the benefits there are that Santa Fe County offers. So thank you for highlighting that. Any questions from the commission? It looks like we got Commissioner Garcia waving. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to, I guess, first of all, start with the ex-commissioner, the Anayas, who actually were very instrumental in actually moving forward, as well as the general public in obtaining this property. And the town of Edgewood actually maintained this property for many, many years. And within the last 6-8 months, they actually said, we're not going to maintain it anymore. And what are you guys going to do with it? And so what we did is with staff, Catherine Mill and your staff, in no particular order, PJ, we went out there to meetings probably about 4 or 6 weeks ago, and there's about 60 people there. Anna, Ambra for following through with stuff. And these people are eager to actually, they want to maintain this property. And it's a beautiful piece of property. So I just want to say thank you once again for staff. Catherine for moving forward with this and directing their staff to help us out, because it is a community open space. And with that, I'd just like to make a motion for approval.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Garcia, and I believe I see Commissioner Hanson waving. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would be more than happy to second this.
Commissioner Hanson, thank you for your second. I think that this is a great opportunity to provide some extra services and work with our community. So I appreciate that. And I do want to just open it up to any other questions or comments from other commissioners. I'll look. Okay, so we do have okay, Commissioner Garcia, did I see you wave?
Just one last thing. I would just really like to commend the community. Like I said, there was about 50 to 60 people out there on a Saturday morning, and PG knows. And it's just really great, awesome to see individuals from the community they said, we'll bring out our tractors, we'll clean, we'll do the fences, and so it was just really great, as PJ knows, he was out there, and Anna I think she was out. But anyhow, it was just great to see that whenever you have community members in the community that they're just eager to take care of our open space and volunteer. So I just want to appreciate all the individuals that were there. I hope they're watching, but once again, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. And it's just another show of how powerful community is when they come together. It really is, because there has been times in the past where I have seen flood events in my own community where people just come out, they're willing to bring their tractors, they're willing to work together hand in hand. And that's the kind of, fellowship that you want to see in our communities. So I appreciate just even hearing that story. I wish I could have been there. It's always awesome to see that. And once again, I'd like to commend Anna for her presentation and thank her again. I know that she works hard in her position. So we do have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments from commissioners?
Just really quick, Mr. Chair, for me.
Commissioner Garcia, once again, of course, this is your district.
What's really cool, you can see the background where they cut the alfalfa today in the awesome, beautiful scenery. And my neighbor is like yelling, but Rudy. So he's handing me a skunk trap, or a trap that we actually caught a couple of skunks. So I said, I'm sorry, I'm in a county commission meeting, but I'm sorry, but it's kind of cool whenever you have community involvement. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir. We appreciate that you sharing that with us. Okay. Any other, I know that Commissioner Hamilton is smiling really big, so no comments.
I just wanted to know if the skunk was still in the trap.
You know what? Actually, in reality, there's been 3 that have been caught. And so what I do, you put a blanket over it, really quiet like that, and then you pick it up, and then you take it to, I won't say where we took it, but it's way out there in the forest. And nothing bad against it, but just let it go. So it's just still in the trap. You want to see a picture?
Good job. I've actually done that as well.
Right.
All righty. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. I'm going to go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Hanson?
Yes, thank you. And thank you to all the community members throughout the entire county who volunteer their time. And thank you, Ms. Anna War, for all the work that you do. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we got the same memo today. We have the same color of pink. So yay.
Yes, it's pink. My mask is pink too.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanson. Commissioner Hamilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Moreno?
Yes.
And a yes from Commissioner Roybal. So this item also passes unanimously. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. War. Next, we're going to go on to item number 3. And these are action items. We have 3A and B. So we're going to look at 3A first, and this is a request and approval of construction agreement number 2020-0209-PWMM between Santa Fe County and the Sparling Construction in the amount of $1,180,967.05, inclusive of New Mexico GRT, for surface and drainage improvements for the Sunlit Hill subdivision, and 2, to authorize the county manager to sign the purchase order. And from the purchasing division, we have Mr. Bill Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, commissioners. The purchasing division issued a IFB, invitation for bid, for surface and drainage improvements at Sunlit Hills, the subdivision located near El Dorado. It consists of 2.39 miles of road improvements involving culvert replacements, 4-inch base course hot mix, multiple things on 4 roads: Camino Pacifico, Paseo del Pinon, Camino Texcoco, and Toltec Road. We received 2 bids on the invitation for bid. They were both very close within each other, and Sparling Construction was the lowest, most responsive bid. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'll stand for questions.
Okay, do we have any questions from the board? I'm going to go through the list here. I'm going to go to Commissioner Hanson first.
Thank you very much. I'm just curious to know how many miles of road this is. I know it says length in feet, but I'm just wondering how many miles it is.
The Public Works Road Division indicated that it covers approximately 2.39 miles, Mr. Chair and Commissioner Hanson.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanson. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I'm going to go to Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just really quick, this is another one of our projects that was actually on the bond a while back, and I'm glad to see the staff is moving forward, because this is in Commissioner Hamilton district, and this is, if you drive out there to the Sunlit Hills area, back in that beautiful subdivision back there, those roads are very challenging when it comes to the width, the drainage, and everything else that these roads actually that we adopted many, many years ago. But once again, it is on our bond, and just to let the taxpayer know, we are getting it completed, and just great project. It took a little while to get done, but anybody that's driven out there, it's very complicated, challenging design for our Public Works Department or Engineering Department, but I'm glad that we're moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. I'm going to go to Commissioner Moreno. Do you have any comments, sir?
No, I don't have any comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Moreno. Commissioner Hamilton, did you have any comments?
Yes, thank you.
This is your district, so it's the most important comments.
Yeah, there you go. No, everybody's comments are important, and I want to thank Commissioner Garcia. Clear knowing so much about the whole county after all those years of work. Sunlit Hills in that area is certainly a challenge, and these roads have, some of them were on in the 2012 GEO bond and the 2016 GEO bond, and so these projects they've been fraught with a lot of difficulties, some controversy about what and how they should be done, and there was the need for a huge amount of community interactions. And based on that, I want to give a special thanks to Public Works Department and the Roads Department, because they have just stuck with this and worked with me, and frankly, past, Commissioner Holian before me, working through the details of these projects and really working incredibly well with me and community members to resolve all kinds of conflicts and issues, and to things that came up along the way, including a lot of safety things that raised the costs of some of the projects. And I'm working with the community to bring that back under control and make decisions. I really want to give a big shout out to Public Works and Gary Heron and Diego Gomez, who I think are both on. So with that, I guess if there's not much discussion, I'd like to move to approve this.
Second.
Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner Hamilton. We do have a motion from Commissioner Hamilton and a second from Commissioner Moreno. Under discussion, I would ditto those same sentiments. I mean, our team at Public Works with Gary Hidon and Diego Gomez and Richard Chang and all the rest of the group out there. I mean, they're awesome. I mean, they're great to work with. You guys are doing a great job. I know a year ago, we had a lot of things that needed to get fixed, and I think that we have come such a long ways. And all I can do is commend the efforts from our Public Works Department, and I'm just really proud of the way you guys have moved forward. I also wanted to go on to other commissioners because we do have comments. I'll look for hands. Any hands out there? Okay, seeing none, we do have a motion from Commissioner Hamilton and a second from Commissioner Moreno. Commissioner Hamilton, I'm going to go to roll call vote. You first.
Yes.
Commissioner Hansen?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Moreno?
Yes.
And a yes from Commissioner Roybal. So we have a unanimous decision again on this request. Thank you, Mr. Taylor, for this presentation. We're going to go on to item number 3B, which is also Mr. Taylor, and this is request approval of amendment number 5 in agreement number 2018-077 ITC between Santa Fe County and Superior LLC, extending the term in an additional 1 year and increasing the compensation by $162,345.96 for a total contract sum of $663,145.59, inclusive of New Mexico GRT, and second, to authorize the county manager to sign the purchase order. And from the purchasing office, once again, we do have Mr. Bill Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Amendment number 5 will extend the term of the contract as stated to September 30, from September 30, 2020 through September 30th, 2021, and increase the compensation an additional $162,345, which requires Board of County Commissioners approval by the increase to the contract. And this is for software applications that's utilized throughout the county through our IT department to provide functions within human resources, finance division, payroll, the treasurer's office, tax billing, sheriff's office, field reporting, among the few of the items. So these are applications licensing to continue those services and applications at the county, throughout the county. And with that, Mr. Chair, I will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Are there any questions from the board? I'm going to run through real quick with Commissioner Hansen.
No question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Hansen. Commissioner Hamilton, do you have any questions?
Yeah, it obviously makes sense to have continuity with respect to all the software development. This has been going on for a while, and it represents further development of systems we already have in place. But I wondered if someone could make comments about whether we're still pretty satisfied with the structure of the software we have that do all these management applications, or whether anybody foresees some problems, even with just the fact that some of it's getting to be whatever, 5 years older, and are so for future maintenance or upgrades, or whether we're going to eventually be looking at a complete overhaul of some of these systems?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Hamilton, if Daniel's present, he is. I just wanted to speak to that and then maybe defer to Daniel Sanchez. But there are certain upgrades that are going on throughout the county, particularly the sheriff's office, with the one solution that's provided by Superior. There is going to be an upgrade once we convert those cases over. But this amendment continues the support and maintenance of the platform, and will allow for upgrades and continuity throughout the county. But if Daniel, because he speaks the language much better than I do on this topic, and I would defer to Daniel Sanchez to give you a more substantial response.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. Chair, Commissioner Hamilton, this is Daniel Sanchez. Yes, this system is current with all its activities. We do continually do upgrades to it. It is relevant and it is caught up to date. We do upgrades on the hardware and software periodically as either legislation or laws pass, or if there's new requirements for the system, we do upgrades throughout the year.
And that process has been quite satisfactory to you?
Yes,
your
ma'am.
perception?
Yes, ma'am. And we continue to look for feedback from the users, and they haven't provided any information otherwise that it's not meeting their needs.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hamilton. I'm going to go to Commissioner Moreno. Did you have any additional questions, sir?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you, Commissioner Moreno. Commissioner Garcia?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Taylor, Daniel, is this part of the upgrades for whenever you go pay your utility bill or you pay your taxes online or through a debit card? Is this the same type of,
No, Mr. Chair and Commissioner Garcia, I don't believe this is the same application. That's a different platform for the debit card and bill payments and purchase of tickets and those things. That's being implied and on a different paymentus was awarded that agreement. Daniel, you want to comment on that at all?
Yes, thanks, Bill. Again, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Garcia, this system is the back end of that process. So this will have all the payments in the back end of it. As Mr. Taylor mentioned, the bill pay for treasurer's tax bill, that'll be through Paymentus and a third party. Utility billing, we're in the process of actually upgrading that process as well through actual Central Square, which is Superior. We will be working with utilities department to take online payments for that as well and implementing a system there with Central Square.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So if I may really quick, so gentlemen, so this is the same company that actually is working with the AS400 as well as working with, to be honest, I get hassles from my cousin all the time. How come I can't pay my bill online? How come I can't pay my water bill on time? So as long as we're moving forward and making sure that this same company actually, so we can just run our debit card and pay our water bill or get a ticket to the landfill or to the transfer station. So we're working for, and this is the same company, correct?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Roybal, this is the back end of that. This is what we'll be processing the payments in the back end. We're working with a front end system with Paymentus take the payment for credit card for taxes, for example. And then we're starting the process of utility billing to be able to do everything online. But everything is moving towards online. Yes, sir.
And just really quick, Mr. Chair, Daniel, so what is the length of time that we can actually pay our water bill or get a landfill transfer station online? Is there an estimated time for that?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Garcia, we're in the final stages of working through getting online payments for taxes, so that would be relatively quickly. We're just in initial stages of working with Mr. Dupuy and the utility department for online taxes and implementing the system with Central Square. So that could be sometimes, I would say, at least 6 months or a little bit longer.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Those are great questions. It's, just 10 short years ago, people still wanted to mail their checks, and there still are people that want to do that, but anymore it's become such a convenience to have automatic withdrawals and also, making payments from your debit card on the internet. It's just so much more convenient. So it's just crazy in, the last decade, how things have changed. And I just appreciate the fact that the county has stayed right on the cutting edge. So thank you, Mr. Sanchez, and also Mr. Taylor. So is there any other questions for commissioners? I'm going to look for a show of hands. I don't believe. Okay, Commissioner Moreno, would you like to comment as well, sir?
No, I was just saying yes.
Okay, good. Thank you, sir. Okay, so on this item, I don't believe that we have a motion yet, or do we?
Oh, Mr. Chair, I'd move to approve.
So we have a motion
move to
from
approve.
Commissioner Hamilton and a second from Commissioner Hanson, it looks like. Go ahead, Commissioner Hanson.
Second.
We have a motion for a second from Commissioner Hanson. So I'm going to go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Hanson,
Yes.
Commissioner Moreno,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
and a yes from Commissioner Roybal. This item requests approval of amendment number 5, agreement number 2018-0077-IT/IC has passed unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, and Commissioner Garcia. We'll get you that information on a timeline for on-bill credit card acceptance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to go on to item number 4, and this is matters of public concern. Is there anybody from the public that has signed up, Ms. Mascarenhas, to address the board?
No, Mr. Chair. I forwarded an email previously today that was sent as a public comment by someone who wasn't available to be here. So I will forward that for the record. Let me see. It is from Miss Joni Ahrens. She's the Executive Director of Concerned Citizens for Nuclear Safety.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mascarenhas. Can you unmute everybody just for a moment and see if there's anybody from the public that would like to address the board? We're looking to see if there's anybody from the public that would like to address the county commissioners. Let's ask, is there anybody from the public that would like to address the board of county commissioners? Okay. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close. And so we have item number 4 that we are closed. Now we're going to go on to item number 5, and this is a matters from the county manager. The 5A is miscellaneous COVID updates, miscellaneous and COVID updates. Manager Miller?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I don't have a lot of updates except that we have seen both in the state as well as Santa Fe County a significant decline in the number of people testing positive for COVID-19 from our high point, which I would say was really a result of 4th of July weekend. But over the past week, the average number in Santa Fe County was 7 individuals per day. And we're still seeing that the majority of those cases do reside in the zip code 87507. Also, overall, the state's positivity rate is about 3%, and that is significantly lower than the surrounding states. On Friday, last Friday, August 7th, the county hosted a COVID-19 testing site for Santa Fe County employees. 88 employees were tested. This was all voluntary. And most of those that were tested, we did it for Santa Fe County employees and city employees, and most of those that were tested were from the county. And we just want to thank the Department of Health for being such a good partner on this. They came out, set up the testing site, pretty impressive how quickly they put it up and started the testing. Also, Santa Fe County Teen Court is gearing up for the start of the school year. And although we won't be conducting court activities, we're going to be accepting participants who are struggling with the COVID-19 crisis and assessing those youth and referring them to different services that we have available. And we're going to be working cooperatively with Team Builders, who is now funded by the county, to provide intensive services to youth with significant behavioral health issues. And then just another update that, we launched our Connect program and our portal during the crisis, the pandemic. And although we had launched Connect beforehand, just since the pandemic started, we've assisted 654 individuals with either rental assistance, permanent housing assistance, homelessness prevention, food security, and many other services. And then the update on our application to the state for the coronavirus relief fund, that we provided an application to the state for about $14 million. $7.5 million of that was for the business opportunity grants, and that we put in an application to cover City of Santa Fe and Santa Fe County, as well as the town of Edgewood. We did look to Espanola if they wanted to participate in ours, but because Espanola straddles two counties, I think they wanted one program for all of their businesses, but we put in for the entire rest of the county with support from the town of Edgewood and the City of Santa Fe, so that we would have one consistent application process for all Santa Fe County businesses. And they and we're going to partner with both Town of Edgewood and City of Santa Fe and other business entities to identify those entities that would be needing grant assistance from the Business Opportunity Fund. We also put in for housing assistance, as we discussed in our last BCC meeting and housing meeting. That was an opportunity to apply for rental assistance for those people who still have a loss of income but need rental assistance to keep paying their rent, as well as mortgage assistance and other housing related services and assistance. We also put in for close to $1 million of reimbursement on expenditures, COVID-related expenditures that we've had year to date, and probably about $2 million more just direct expenditures for protecting our facilities, our staff, providing PPE, cleaning facilities. And then we've put in for additional funding to Connect to provide social services throughout the county. The state is, I think they had initially had the cutoff for the applications last Friday. I think they were allowing for some addendums to those applications to make sure they really understood all the different programs that we were requesting funding for. I think that's cut off tomorrow. Rachel and her staff, Penny's staff, Joseph Montoya, Chris Heyer, Alex, Patricia Boyce, they just, Yvonne Herrera and her staff really jumped into action. We had a very short time to put our application in. I think they did an excellent job. we're a little frustrated that you could only put 2,000 characters per question, which when they're asking for detailed answers, didn't let us give much detail. But hopefully, the way that Rachel and the staff put together our application, hopefully they could see all the things that we've been doing in our community, that we've been doing throughout our offices, that we've been doing in public safety and corrections and fire, sheriff's office, RECC, all the things that emergency management, everything that staff has been doing on the public safety side, as well as the community service side and delivering meals. And providing behavioral health assistance to the homeless, to anybody in need, that we've really gone above and beyond to reach out to those members in our community, from the north to the south, east to the west, you name it, every small part of the county, a small community in the county, to really see how we can help and how we can provide services to those people who maybe have not been able to access services, or who have lost their jobs, or whose businesses have closed. We put in for everything that we could to see if we can get additional funds from the state CARES Act money and get that out into the community. And I just want to commend all the staff, how quickly they responded, how hard they worked, and how much coordination they did with our partners in the private sector as well as the government sector to try to put something forward that hopefully will bring some funding, bring some additional funding to the county. And that's the extent of my update, and I stand for questions.
Okay, thank you very much for that update, Manager Miller. Do we have any other questions from the board? I'm going to go to Commissioner Hanson. Commissioner Hanson, did you have any additional questions for Manager Miller?
Yeah, thank you. I just, I really want to just thank Catherine and the entire staff for all of the work that they have done to get this grant going and moving forward. I know that was a heavy lift to do it in such a short time. So I just want to acknowledge and appreciate how important it is to me, because I know all of our so many of our constituents are suffering out there. So thank you very, very much. I'm really grateful.
And Mr. Chair and Commissioner Hanson, I just want to add, you just reminded me that we also requested funding for a public awareness campaign specifically, and we're ready to go if we get funding for that. My understanding is that the state's going to take about 2 weeks to evaluate them. I am sure that they received more requests for funding than they have, but hopefully they can see that we're prepared to move money throughout the community in a variety of ways to provide assistance and public awareness. So hopefully we'll get a significant amount to do that. I don't know how they're going. I still don't know the criteria, so we'll see.
So thank you for that. And I also just wanted to mention at this point that I did speak to Rich Brown at the city, and he said that they had done some flyers in Spanish especially for the 87507, 87505 district, where we have more Spanish speakers. So they were doing some flyers to get information out about COVID. And I'm grateful. I hope we get some money to do public awareness. I think it's really important for us to do that, to keep our numbers down. So thank you so much. Thank you for mentioning that also. I'm grateful once again. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Manager Miller and Commissioner Hanson. I'm going to go to Commissioner Garcia.
Oops. Sorry, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Thank you. As a policymaker, these days it's hard to be a policymaker, and well, we're getting through it, and we're doing an excellent job, our staff and the community as a whole. And it's just really sad to me that the Congress, they can't come up with a deal, which is out of our realm of control. But it's just really frustrating, as Manager Miller says. It's just hard. There's no deal made yet. Sometimes I don't like to watch news at 6 a.m. But the homeless individuals, thank you for working with Espanola as well as Edgewood. And it's kind of sad that you see, like, they're not even tent sites anymore. On Zaffarano, there's 4 cardboard sites the other day there. It just broke my heart, and it was really sad to see that. And I'm glad to see that Commissioner-elect or appoint Mr. Hank Hughes, who's actually been involved in that for many, many years, and he knows the inside and out on that stuff. And like I said, it's just sad when you go down Zaffarano, main road in the southern part of our district, and it's just like, whoa, what's this about? New Starbucks down there. So I just there's a gentleman that I know. He was a Golden Gloves boxer. Went to the Boys Club many, many, many years ago, and he's there all the time. And I won't mention his name, but I always help him out. And it's just kind of sad to see individuals like that. And one of the things that I just want to so these individuals that don't have a computer, they don't have a cell phone. So I know we put on our website all the time, but is there a way that we can go hand them like a flyer and say, look, individuals, you need some help? Here, call this or do this. It's just food for thought. If we can think about that, because like I said, my friend that sits at, but anyhow, just food for thought if we can work that out. But thank you, staff, for working with our adjoining communities, Espanola, Edgewood. But I appreciate that. Thank you, Catherine, and your staff.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Garcia. We're going to go to Commissioner Hamilton.
Thank you. I guess I just want to add my voice to my colleagues. And based on what Commissioner Garcia said, it's very true that in the end, things come down to the local level. It's kind of the last line of defense for people. And so both Commissioner Garcia and Commissioner Hansen, I just want to join them and really thank, Manager Miller and the entire senior staff, and also commented what an incredibly thoughtful job you guys did in the topics you thought to put out requests for and the way they were put out. I think it really covers the bases, as well as I can certainly imagine, especially given basically a week to pull all that information together. Although clearly you and the entire staff have been thinking about this the entire time we've been responding to COVID, and you guys have been collecting information and saving it in preparation for the hope that something like this came through. And so just you deserve a lot of credit for this action and what you've done up till now, and what this represents for our constituents.
Thank you, Commissioner Hamilton. Commissioner Moreno, did you have any additional comments? Commissioner Moreno, I think you're on mute, sir.
Commissioner Moreno, you're on mute. Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy that Hank will be a good person to bring his expertise in the matters of homelessness, and I think it is a scourge. There's so many people just out on the streets, downtown, in the boonies. And it's a sad situation that people can't have an opportunity to just have good, safe place to live. So I'm happy that that will be better.
Thank you, Commissioner Moreno, for your comments. And I think that, we have the homeless shelter that was established in Espanola in my district recently, and we've been working hard. We've worked with this shelter in Espanola, and I want to see it be able to provide additional services. But it's needed throughout our county, and it is a sad situation. And I just appreciate the I guess support from the rest of my commission and on the different items that we do face here. And it's something that with homelessness and comes behavioral health and opioid addiction and all the rest of the realm. And it's something that we really need to try and focus on the future to help these individuals. So I do really appreciate the effort that's being brought forward. And so and as my other commissioners have mentioned, I mean, Mr. Hank Hughes joining the commission to give us insight in that realm, and that's where his a lot of his work has been over the years. And I think that it's going to be a huge asset to this commission. And I think a lot of us already have the heart to work with our communities and make sure that we provide the service necessary for these individuals. So it's really great to hear a lot of these comments from our commission. So I do appreciate that. And I want to thank Manager Miller for her presentation. With that, is there any other comments from the commission before we move on to our next item? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to our next item. And this is item number 5B. This is a coronavirus relief fund overview of Santa Fe County grant application to New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration. Is this going to be you also, Manager Miller?
Oh, Mr. Chair, I wrapped that into the end of the other one. I just combined the two. That was the $14 million application that we put in that included the housing and the business opportunity grant funding, and as well as the reimbursement for our COVID-related expenditures. So,
okay.
Yeah, that was all combined. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. That's perfect. Thank you for doing that. Is there any other comments? Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 6. And these are matters from the county commissioners or other elected officials. These are action or non-action items, but we're going to go on to 6A, and this is commissioner issues and comments, including but not limited to constituents' concerns, recognitions, and requests for updates of future presentations. I'm going to go to Commissioner Garcia first.
Mr. Chair, at the top of my head, I can think of many things, but I'll get with Manager Miller on them. But one of the things, I don't know if Anna or PG is still in line there, on what are we finally going to do with the county fair? We're going to do virtual, and I heard that with the state fair this morning on the radio. So if they can give an update, that's great. If not, we can wait till the next meeting. But that, just off the top of my head, just for the general public, I would just like to ask that. But like I said, if they don't have anything, we can wait till the next meeting if it's possible. And I'll get some of my things to Manager Miller.
Okay.
Chair, I think Anna's still on the line, and we did start the virtual fair. So Anna, do you have the most recent update? So I see that she's on there, but she's not talking, but I have that information. So if you want to go on to something else and come back to it, I'll pull it up on my computer.
Okay, we'll go ahead and come back to it then. I'm going to go to Commissioner Hansen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank everybody for all their updates, always. But I want to mention that the Neighbor to Neighbor food drive has started this year, and it is a fund drive as opposed to a food drive. You can go to the thefooddepot.org and sign up to donate. You can well aware many people are out of work and working with less, and so food is really important. I was listening today to Tom Udall when he was Senator Udall when he was talking about two other people around the state and how difficult it is that people are struggling with food insecurity. So anybody who can donate to the Neighbor to Neighbor fund drive this year, please do so. I know that the county has continued to support this, and I am grateful for our involvement in that. And then I want to mention that I am very honored that once again, I have been appointed by the NACO president to as the vice chair of the Environment, Energy, and Land Use Steering Committee. I am the sub vice chair for Energy. I'm on the Arts and Culture Commission, the Healthy Counties Initiative Advisory Board, RAC, which is the Rural Action Committee, which works really hard to encourage PILT and secure rural school funding, and the Resilient County Advisory Board. And I find these meetings throughout the year very, very helpful to know what other people are doing nationally and what we can also do to help one another. Thank you very much for sharing my letter. I did share that with Greg this morning, and I just wanted to let everyone know that I also attended the NACO National Business Conference and Town Hall via internet, of course, this year. And I'm honored to have been a voting member for the third time in a row. And I'm an active participant in NACO, and I think that it is important for us as a county to have that connection to be able to lobby on a national level for the things that we need locally. So thank you for that, and thank you to all of my commissioners for your support on my activities with the National Association of Counties. And with that, that is all I have to share at the moment. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanson. I'm going to go on to Commissioner Hamilton.
Thank you. I actually just wanted to mention that last Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, we did Coffee with the Commish. It was quite an active meeting. As many of it, I'm getting some smiles from people who were helping me. There were many people, concerned about the ongoing Dollar General store business and wanted a lot of clarifications. And based on just, it was a challenging, but in the end, very, very fruitful meeting. And that was largely because of the help I got. So I want to specifically thank Tessa Joe and Daniel Fresquez, as well as Tina Salazar and actually Ambra Baca, who all joined and helped me out. And I was just hugely grateful for that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And they did a fabulous job providing information.
Yep. Thank you, Commissioner Hamilton. And I know that, they are very instrumental in helping with bringing clarity to our constituents and just helping the commissioners with that type of activity. I know that it's not always easy, and there's decisions that we make as a board that aren't always easy, but our staff always helps us with working through those issues, and the individuals you mentioned in particular have always been very generous with their time and very helpful. So I appreciate that as well. And thank you for recognizing them, Commissioner Hamilton. I'm going to go to Commissioner Moreno.
I don't have anything to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Moreno. Okay, so I'm going to move on to other elected officials.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, this is Rudy, if I may, one more time. Sorry.
Commissioner Garcia?
Just really quick, just say it the way it is you know, one of the things in our community or throughout the nation and obviously the world is communication. This thing right here, cell phone. This is actually a great device and could be a bad device. You can read a book off of this device, or you can, I don't even know what Snapchat is or whatever else that stuff's going on. And I think one thing that us as policymakers in this community, and we need to start and talk to Dr. Garcia all the time, does an excellent job for our school system as well as our county. And I think communication is very important through whether it's a relationship or whether it's policymakers or the whole community as a whole. And I would like to see if our PIO person can actually put out some sort of a survey as into, you know, unfortunately in the last 4 weeks, 2 individual kids have they died. And so sometimes you have a lot of individuals in the community chatting. And as into, you know what, step up, volunteer, do what we got to do to help out our community as a whole, because communication is key. And I'd like to see if our PIO person can actually make, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out, put out a survey as into what kind of volunteer items would you as a community would be willing to do. I got a lot of questions to, I don't know, the school board, how come these kids are doing this and that? And this one guy told me that, a good friend of mine, I said, you know, you're a golfer, right? Yeah. Why not pick up 3 kids or 5 kids on Saturday morning and go show them how to hit the golf ball? Let's get involved. People tell me you guys should be doing this. Well, volunteer, let's do it. And so just communication volunteers. I'd like to see if our PIO person can actually put out a survey as to what type of volunteer services would you like to do, if you could do it. Because as policymakers, we're first to get the finger pointed at, and I understand, I get it. And so maybe, I don't know, Catherine, if you could have probably to do that, or if it's a good idea, if you all think that or not, just food for thought. And then just another thing on I know we're going to do this on the next agenda, but I want to make sure that we have something up there for Commissioner Moreno, because you know what, stepping up to the plate and playing baseball and hitting that ball, it's a challenge. And so just if we can make sure and put something on the next agenda for Commissioner Moreno, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. So we're going to move on to our next.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner, go ahead, Commissioner Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know this is your area and that you have been working on this, but we just received a email from Patricia Boyce on the census for the future. Our future is at stake, and so I just want to remind everyone out there to please fill out your census form as soon as possible. Every single person makes a tremendous amount of difference. So please, it just takes 5 minutes, and you can go to www.WeCountNewMexico or WeCountNM.org and fill out the census form. So just a reminder to stay on that.
So that reminder.
Sorry. Mr. Chair, it's the manager. I was trying to get the update. If you had something on the census, I did want to add to the census item as well. Santa Fe County is doing better, but there are pockets in the county that really need shoring up. They're not getting counted as much as our goal. Patricia is working on that. As you know, the federal government moved up the line. So at first It was moved back to October 31st. Now it's been moved up to September 30th. So the pressure to get everything completed, get everyone counted, increased significantly. So to emphasize what Commissioner Hanson said and to expand on the work that you've been doing, Chair Roybaugh, yes, everybody please do what you can to get counted and encourage people that you know if they haven't completed their census form. It's really quick and it's not complicated. So please do so and encourage everyone you know that hasn't done it to do so. The other thing is Commissioner Garcia asked for what we were doing for the county fair. As you know, we can't have any public events or any events that have a gathering of multiple people. So we changed the fair with the Fair Board's recommendations into a youth achievement event. And it was scheduled to start last week, August 2nd, and go through August 18th. And it's not public. It's open to 4-H youth, immediate family, extension staff, and our staff and Fair Board members. It's aligned with the no mass gatherings and CDC guidelines and other public health orders that have been put out by the governor. And the schedule included a horse show that would be held at the rodeo grounds, a lamb and goat show, a pig show, and a cattle show. And these animals would be shown by species, and there would be no more than 5 animals in a class. And there's a junior livestock virtual auction, 4-H indoor exhibits with time slots for each family. Exhibits would be dropped off by one person at a time. And a poultry and rabbit show will be done virtually with the exception of the poultry showmanship. And Anna is back, and I don't know if you had anything to add for the commissioners.
Yes, hi, I'm sorry, I had to step away for a second. So I did go down to the fairgrounds last week, and I was very impressed with the way the Fair Board handled it. A different animal was done every day. I was there for pig check-in, so they had pig check-in. Everybody was masked. We did have like one gentleman specifically who did not want to wear a mask, and the Fair Board chair was really good about saying this is a public health order and got it taken care of. I also was on the live webcast of the virtual auction on Friday. So last year in a real fair, we actually had 65 animals and they made $158,000. This year through the virtual auction, they actually had less animals because some of the kids had pulled their animals. There was 59 animals that were auctioned off and they made $155,000. This is a considerable amount that was done. They were actually just hoping to make half of last year's sale. And compared to what other counties have done, this was really successful. I talked to Christina yesterday and the families were very excited. I got a beautiful little thank you note from one of the 4-H kids thanking Santa Fe County for all we did to put on what we did and allow them to finish their projects. So it was really nice. This weekend, the kids had time slots, those that were participating in their arts and crafts indoor stuff. And then this week there's been judging happening. So if it's a specific thing like drawings, they have the judge only come in for drawing. So it's all still maintaining the social distancing and masks. So I think even though it wasn't the fair that we normally had, it was something that made the families and the kids really happy. And they were able to successfully finish their projects. And they were very appreciative of the Fair Board, of the County Extension Office in Santa Fe County, for letting them do that. Thank you.
Go ahead, Commissioner Garcia.
Mr. Chair.
Just really quick.
Garcia.
Just really quick. Did any of the animals wear masks?
No.
Yes.
Not that I saw.
All right, just checking. Thank you for the update.
Commissioner
You're
Hanson.
welcome.
Thank you, Anna War. Thank you again for the update on the fair. I'm really happy to hear that they made so much money. That is really rewarding for the kids, and they must have been really, really happy. And so thank you, and thank you for sharing all that good news. I also wanted to share some other good news. Last meeting, we approved a letter to approve the 2018 residential and commercial international energy conservation codes at CID, and I wanted to share with everyone that they were passed by the board unanimously. So we now are going to be under the 2020-5-14 2018 residential and commercial energy international energy conservation code, and we have 6 months to put them into application or adoption. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. So thank you once again for your support of that.
Mr. Chair, I have a question on that, if I may.
Go ahead, Rudy.
So that was just a letter of support for that code. That doesn't mean that the county actually adopted that code. Am I correct? Somebody out there, Greg, Catherine, that was a letter of support, not to actually adopt that code for Santa Fe County. Am I correct or not correct? Somebody tell me.
So, Commissioner, if I could respond, I believe that it was a letter of support for the adoption of the code. And now that the code has been adopted by the state, it is now the law of CID for the construction industry, and that those codes are so to speak, the law of the land. Somebody else wants to correct me. Maybe Penny is on the line or could give you more information.
Mr. Chair, this is the manager.
Go ahead, Manager Miller.
If CID adopted it, ultimately we will have to review our code and see if we are, if you recall, we use a slightly different way of evaluating energy efficiency with the HERS rating. So we will have to evaluate our code and see whether ours is more stringent than the state's, and we will have to evaluate what changes may need to be done to our code to come in compliance or conformity with the state code.
Mr. Chair, if I may, Rudy. Mr. Chair, if I may. I see Mr. Schaefer on the line there. So I guess this really brings a lot of concern to me, and I understand, as Manager Miller says, whenever the state adopts a septic tank regulation or a 3/4 acre minimum for a septic tank or solar or whatnot, or the type of fire rating used on a porch or whatnot, I understand that. So if we have to follow state's regulations, I totally understand that. But I'm a little perplexed as into, so whenever we give a letter of support to somebody, does that mean we automatically do that or not? That's just, I thought it was just a letter of support saying, yes, we agree for the state to adopt this, and the governor signed the bill, and which she did, and move forward. But that was a letter of support. I didn't realize that, because whenever we pass an ordinance, we have to do title and general summary, put it out for 2 different public hearings, and then people can come speak against it. So I get it, I understand it, but I'm just a little just wondering about that. That's why I was asking about it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Garcia, so what the board authorized the chair to sign and submit was a letter of support in favor of CID adopting the new codes. And so conceptually, it would be no different than the board passing a resolution or otherwise taking action in favor of proposed legislation. And so that's what, in effect, I understand the board to have done relative to the letter of support. And now that CID has acted to adopt the new code statewide, then yes, they would apply where applicable to county development. And I'll leave it at that unless you have any other questions for me. But as the county manager alluded, county staff will be looking to see how the new codes will interface with the Sustainable Land Development Code and applications that are submitted to the county, and we'll bring back any items that are necessary for the board to consider on that score. But relative to the action taken by the state, my understanding is that is a final action.
Wow. Thank you, Greg.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Hanson as Vice Chair. I'm wondering if we have Mr. Henry Roybal on. Is he still with us, Mr. Chair? Not hearing him, I am going to continue with matters from the county attorney. And I'm going to go to Greg Schaefer, our county attorney.
Thank you, Attorney Schaefer. Was there any other comments or questions from commissioners? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go on to our next item, on item number 6B. I'm going to go to our county clerk. This is announcements.
Thank you, Chair Roybal. The announcement I'd like to make and share with the voting public and our constituents and our citizens of Santa Fe County is that the county clerk and her staff are working simultaneously, planning and preparing for 2 elections, the Town of Edgewood special election and the 2020 general election, which is very overwhelming, but challenging, but still in many ways rewarding. So I just want to let everyone know that we are working very hard and to prepare for the elections that are coming up. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I do, go ahead, Commissioner Hamilton.
Well, I just wondered if I might ask the clerk, given this is her little time slot, and she made a very good point, and thank you, Mr. Chair, about how challenging the November election is expected to be. And I know the primaries were also challenging, and Madam Clerk, your office did a fabulous job, but there were many, many stresses and many concerns, and that seem to be increasing now, not decreasing, including the use of mail-in ballots and whatnot. And I just wonder if there are particular actions you're contemplating, or in that regard, is there anything you can think of now or in the, as time goes on, that the board might consider or need to provide some help with?
Thank you for the acknowledgement, Commissioner Hamilton, and also for the suggestion of obtaining help from the board. That what I will do, as I have been doing to the tens and tens of customers that I deal with, work with, email with, phone call with, regarding the upcoming election, as I send them a whole list of information regarding the absentee voting process. And I also have a poster. I'm going to send all of you what I send to our voting public and anyone requesting that information so that you are aware of what's going on at this moment and what are some critical deadlines and dates regarding the absentee process and what we're doing. I think that would be a tremendous help. All of the voters that are asking for absentee ballots information on and on early on, I feel are the ones that are on top of it. And they want to be informed immediately rather than the last minute. So I send them lots of information because I believe this type of voter shares the information. So with your comments, your support, your acknowledgement, I'm going to do the same thing in a few minutes to all of you, because that's one way that the board can help us. We are very overwhelmed. It's very stressful. I still haven't recovered 100% from the primary election, but we are going forward. And so thank you for the acknowledgement, and I will share that information.
Thank you. That actually sounds like a great idea, because if there's any way we can help, including spreading information for you with constituents who are also very concerned, but you hear a very different aspect of what the particular concerns are than we do, yet we could help share information. And I don't think there's any more critical time or what will be a more pressured time than between now and this general election. So
Yes.
Thanks for that, and thanks for your efforts in this.
You're welcome. It is very trying at this moment, especially with the COVID pandemic. I did make a policy decision a couple of weeks ago that I won't be issuing marriage licenses to out-of-state residents, and because I have concerns from staff that feel that that it is a health issue for them. The community that has contacted me, the media outputs that I have read regarding out-of-state residents who are not abiding by the protocols, the governor or even our office regarding mask and protocols for the pandemic. So I think I had to make that decision. I did make that decision earlier on, and that seemed to help. But now I think I needed to put that policy again in place. I think also not just my staff or customers or residents in Santa Fe County were concerned, but I believe also other county staff who work at this building also have concerns. So that's another announcement I wanted to make to all of you. So whatever assistance you can provide us, we appreciate it. We may need other county staff, as we had before from Rachel O'Connor's staff, to assist us with our absentee ballots. We're overloaded with data input, mail. The other sad thing is that there's a third party out there that on a regular basis sends out absentee ballot applications. And that interferes, and it's not illegal, but it is very concerning that they send out in advance of our absentee ballot applications, our process at the state level and the county level, all of these applications to registered voters, and sometimes their list isn't as accurate, and they send it out to them, and it's confusing, but we also get their mail return from those applications. And in addition to that, we will be sending applications to everyone in Santa Fe County starting September 14th. So we have these layers of mail that we have to deal with, but in addition to that, to a third party. Now, I was informed and alerted by one of my staff that she received a call regarding that one of those third party, and I don't know how many are out there now, one of those third parties that are sending out absentee applications, as I mentioned again, I'm going to mention again, it's not illegal, but it is concerning that on the application she received, it stated send a check. So part of the information I have that I will send you where I'm telling voters, if you receive a third party absentee ballot application that states send a check, do not send a check or cash, contact our office immediately. So with elections, a lot of things pop up. We are busy with customer service and all of these intricacies of running an election, 2 elections. Thank you again.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you for all the information. I do, the only other elected official that I do see online right now is Mr. Hank Hughes. I'd like to go ahead and open the floor up to Mr. Hughes if he'd like to address any of his future constituents that'll be here in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I believe. Mr. Hank Hughes, did you have anything that you'd like to share with your constituents?
Well, nothing in particular. I'm excited to get started in September, and I look forward to that. And I wish my my current commissioner Ed Moreno happiness in his retirement and all the best. And I'm just going to join this meeting and the next one to absorb all the information I can, and so I can hit the ground running on September 1st. And thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. And yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Mr. Commissioner Moreno has done a great job representing his constituents, and I know that we're going to recognize him in our next meeting, and I know you'll be here as well. But I just wanted to afford you the opportunity to say some words. So I appreciate you being involved. As soon as you decided you wanted to run, we would see you on the meeting. So we appreciate that. I think that it really does show a great effort. Not only did you step up to represent your community, but you also put in the time even prior. So it's really commendable. So I do appreciate that. And I'm sure the rest of the commission does as well. So congratulations once again on your appointment. And we look forward to working with you. And it'll be bitter sadness as we, or bittersweet sadness as we bid farewell to Commissioner Moreno and the time we have spent with him. It's been a great adventure during those 4 years now, or 3.5 years, and so we appreciate that. So thank you, Mr. Hughes, for being here today, sir. Okay, with that being said, unless we have any other comments from commissioners,
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Hanson, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to also thank Clerk Salazar for all of her hard work. And I know that it is really hard work, and your dedication to making elections in Santa Fe County go as smoothly as possible. So thank you very, very much. And it's very nice to see your picture on the screen. So thank you for that also. And good luck. And we look forward to continuing to work with you through this challenging election season.
You're welcome, and thank you, Commissioner Hanson. And the photo helps me because I'm working away as I'm doing my clerk duties for the board. So, okay, thank you.
I couldn't agree with the sentiment from Commissioner Hanson as well, and we know that you have a huge task ahead of you. All the presidential elections are always a lot of work, and just know that the commission is here to help you with whatever you need, Madam Clerk. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Chair Roybal. It means a lot from my colleagues who are elected officials to reach out and acknowledge. It truly does. Thank you so much.
Thank you again. So we're going to go on to item number 7, and this is matters from the county attorney. Can we get a summary of what we will be going into executive session for? Attorney Schaefer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, I respectfully request a motion to go into executive session to discuss threatened or pending litigation in which Santa Fe County is or may become a participant as allowed by Section 1015(1)H 7 NMSA 1978, as well as the discussion of the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property as allowed by Section 1015(1)H 8 NMSA 1978. Including 3 items. Number 1 on the agenda, protest of U.S. Department of Energy in Los Alamos County application under OSC file number RG-00485 et al. 2, potential acquisition of open space property. And then 4 on your agenda, the 3rd item, potential ordinance enforcement and trespass action. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Schaefer. So will we possibly have an action item when we get out of executive session?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And we will need to come back to this meeting to take care of that action item. And you should have all received a separate WebEx meeting invitation from Ms. Tessa Jo Mascarenas for the executive session. So if a motion is made, seconded, and passed, we will need to exit this meeting and join that separate WebEx meeting for executive session. When that is over, we'll come back to this meeting in order to take care of that action item and concluding business. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Schaefer. Do I hear a motion to
Mr.
go into
Chair?
executive session? Yes.
I move that we go into executive session for all of the items that the county attorney mentioned.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanson. We have a second from Commissioner Hamilton. I'm going to go to a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, can you do a roll call vote for us, please?
Yes, Chair Roy Ball,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Moreno.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And so we are in executive session, but I'm going to go ahead and allow a 5-minute break and we will reconvene in executive session at 3:45. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, make sure you go to the other meeting.
I'm sorry, what was that, Manager Miller?
We have to go to the other meeting.
Yes.
And then when we leave that, have to come back to this meeting.
Correct. That's what I gathered from what Attorney Schaefer had stated.
Okay, just want to make sure everyone knew that.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that
you.
clarification.
Just a little bit of support. I think I can do it.
Okay, welcome back. Have we got all the commissioners present, Tessa?
It looks like we're just waiting on Commissioner Moreno.
Okay, great. We got the little one playing in the sandbox behind me.
Mr. Chair, this is Rudy. That's totally colossal. That the things that you do that people in your district probably don't realize
Yeah.
what your volunteer stuff that you actually do, and you should be proud of yourself. That's cool.
Thank you, sir. Josiah, say hello and look around. Say hi. Hi. Yeah. It's keeping me young, right? Don't lie to me now.
I don't know. You don't have any hair, but he's keeping you on your toes. Well, that is that cool. Cool.
Tessa, Joe, do you think you can call Commissioner Moreno?
Sure.
So, Mr. Chair, now we have a chair and a junior chair here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Got a chair.
don't let doing. Okay.
Hi there.
So,
Yup,
Mr. Chair.
okay.
So, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Garcia.
So, Mr. Chair, till we get Commissioner Moreno on the line, would the young guys like to say something?
He already did.
Okay.
Say, sing a song.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Twinkle, what? It father the mother. Hey, my turn. Tia. Let me Tia now.
Okay, go get your dinner. So, do we have Commissioner Moreno yet?
He said he's just working on it.
Okay, great. We had a little bit of entertainment.
Mr. Chair, this is Rudy once again. I think it's really cool and awesome that us as local officials is that, we're not in the Congress, but whenever you can bring up the background or individuals of what they do as into your child, that's local government. That's us, right? I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, we're the closest to our constituents, and I love being at this level.
Okay. We can rock and roll.
Yes, it looks like Commissioner Moreno is just signing on.
Hey, Commissioner Moreno, welcome, sir. All right, so I'd like to entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Hamilton?
Tom, I would like to move that we come out of executive session and assure that the only things we discussed in session were those that were listed by Attorney Schaefer with respect to the motion to go into session.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Hamilton and a second from Commissioner Hanson. All those in favor signify by saying aye, or actually, let's go into a roll call vote. Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Moreno? I believe you're on mute, sir. We can hear you now, sir. Thank you, Commissioner Moreno. And a yes from Commissioner Roybal, so we have a unanimous vote to come out of executive session. Next, I'm going to go to Commissioner Hanson.
You want to list the item number, Mr. Chair?
If you could read the item number into the record, that'll be fine.
Okay, well, I don't have board docs. Just one second. Let me pull that up. I'm right there.
I think Daniel is bringing it forward.
Okay.
If you could zoom in a little bit more, sir.
Well, I want to know what is it? The number is. I know it's B, but
7B.
7B. I'm making a motion that requests ratification of a protest of the U.S. Department of Energy in Los Alamos County. I move that we ratify Santa Fe County's protest of the U.S. Department of Energy in Los Alamos County under OSE file number RG-00485, comma, it shall all, comma, period, and authorize the county attorney to prosecute the protest.
We have a
Second.
motion from. Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Hansen and a second from Commissioner Hamilton. I'm going to go to anything under discussion. Okay, here. Okay, Commissioner Garcia, go ahead.
Just really quick, prosecute. I don't know that the agenda says prosecute, but we can clarify that. But anyhow, this weekend I actually went for a ride to the Rio Grande, and the Rio Grande, as we all know, is a very important waterway to the entire state of New Mexico. And it was interesting when I went for a ride down through Diablo Canyon and just saw the Rio Grande. You saw a lot of people there having a great time and enjoying themselves. And I think sometimes a lot of people from the state of New Mexico or constituents don't realize the importance of that river. And when you become a policymaker, obviously we're voting on this, and we do. And the SEO, the State Engineer's Office, has a lot of rights throughout New Mexico, as we all know, is very, 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 very complicated. And I think bringing this forward is great, and I'm for it. And one of the things that I have a question about is in regards to protest the U.S. Department of Energy and Los Alamos County's application under the OSE file, so on and so forth. So what legal staff or our legal staff is going to participate in the protest, or is it just Santa Fe County is going to protest this, or is every county down the Rio Grande? Is it Los Alamos County? Is it Rio Arriba County? Who else is involved in this protest? Because is Mr. Schaefer's office going to be the only attorneys going against this application?
Commissioner Garcia, so the Buckman Direct Diversion Board also protested this application.
So have we, Mr. Femi?
Absolutely, go ahead. And then I'll go to Commissioner Hamilton.
So I guess it seems like a type of team effort that have we or do we need to, or are we going to reach out to, let's just say, several individuals throughout the Rio Grande River, because it affects the entire state. And so what I don't want to see Santa Fe County is, or the Buckman Diversions, have our legal staff is the only individuals protesting this, because so that's just the concerns I have about this. It's just like the same thing, not to bring it up, whenever we had the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit with the schools against the state of New Mexico. There was so many school districts in the state, and there was 6 districts that paid for that lawsuit. And so if somebody can just help me out with that.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Garcia, Greg Schaefer, I don't have a list of others who may have filed a protest. I can get you that information offline. As Commissioner Hansen alluded, the Buckman Direct Diversion Board has, through its council, also submitted a protest. So we believe that there will at least be efforts and opportunities for collaboration there. But I will get that information for you. And ultimately, in terms of the level of effort, I think that'll be determined based upon the speed with which information that's missing from the application is provided so that we can truly assess the potential impacts to the county and the Rio Grande, and we can reassess at that time again the level of effort involved in the protest and whether ultimately the county is satisfied that the application doesn't impact the county in a negative way. So I guess to sum up, we'll evaluate that as we go forward, both in terms of the information that we're getting, as well as what effort might be involved in pursuing the protest. But as an immediate matter, I'll get you a listing of entities and individuals who have protested the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Attorney Schaefer. So once again, ratification of a protest, that means we're going to move forward on this protest then. So once again, please give me the information, because are we actually going to lead the protest? Because we have, remember, we're dealing with the Amount water system. There's a lot of individuals that can utilize that system. And so it's just a little bit of a complicated thing, but if you can please get me a list of that, I'd appreciate that, because once again, are we going to be a lead or not? But I appreciate it. I just want to put that for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Hanson.
So part of the reason we are protesting this application was because it was completely inadequate, and they did not fill out the application properly. So if they withdraw their application and file it properly so we have the correct information, then we can move forward. And that is what we are requesting by this protest. They get very little time to make comment and get information. And they provided very little information in their application.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanson.
Mr. Chair, I appreciate it. Sorry.
Go ahead, Commissioner Garcia.
Just really quick, I get it. I understand it totally. I understand that. It just seems like I just hope that we have some other communities that actually would participate with us. And I just want to see how we're going to do that, if we can do that, because we're going to take the lead in this. Mr. Schaefer's office is already overwhelmed with work. And Commissioner Hamilton, I get it. I understand that. I'm just trying to get more people involved, communication, how do we do it? So that's why I brought it up, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. And I do understand, the concerns and the points that Commissioner Garcia brought up. And I realize that, there are some answers that weren't answered in this permit. And I understand that, especially Santa Fe County and the Buckman direct diversion have a direct interest in how that application is filled out and making sure that it is filled out adequately so that the county can make an assessment on what is happening. And there's some points that are just not clear, and that's basically what the county is asking for. So, I think that's, that there's nothing wrong with asking for that information. One question I do have is, if the lab has to resubmit for this permit, is it going to stop any of the remediation that is currently happening at the lab, or will that all continue? Do we have answers for that? Attorney Schaefer, did you have?
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Nowhere in the application did we request that they stop cleaning up. We are requesting that they provide more information.
Okay. So, that's just one clarifying point I wanted to make, that this would not stop the operations of remediation in Los Alamos. It was just additional information that the county is asking for. Is that correct?
That is my understanding.
Okay. Attorney Schaefer, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair. As noted in our protest letter itself, we don't object to remediation of the chromium plume. Again, the basis of the protest is that the information presented is inadequate for the county to determine whether or not there will be material adverse impacts on the county and the public welfare, since details of the additional pumping as well as the remediation plan itself, the re-injection of water are not specified in the application. So that protest was necessary to ensure that the missing information is supplied through some appropriate mechanism so that the county can assure itself that its interests are not being harmed.
Thank you, Attorney Schaefer. I appreciate the clarification. So we do have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments at this point? I think the only one, Commissioner Moreno, are you good, or did you have any other additional comments, sir?
I'm good.
Thank you, sir. So I'm going to go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Hansen,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Yes.
Commissioner Moreno,
Yes.
and a yes from Commissioner Roybal. So this item passes unanimously. I do believe that this is the last of our agenda items. I do want to see if there's any other announcements by commissioners. Commissioner Hansen, did you have any additional announcements?
Just do your census form and join the Neighbor to Neighbor fund drive at thefooddepot.org.
Thank you, Commissioner Hansen. And I would ditto those remarks. I know that there's still a huge amount of constituents in the northern part of Santa Fe County that have not filled out their census. And I drive through some of the areas in the neighborhood and I'll see census packets hanging from individuals' fences. And I have actually stopped at a few places when I see them outside and asked them if, they'll fill out the packets. It's something that's important, and I think a lot of people still don't understand the impact that it can have for us not filling these out. I mean, $40,000, just about $40,000 per individual is something that, a household that has 3 people, that's $120,000. So it's a huge amount of money. So it's just something that we need to keep reiterating and work with our communities. And I know that we're doing everything we can. I want to commend Patricia Boyes for her hard work and everybody else from the census. As a matter of fact, there was somebody from the census that came to my house and asked me if I had filled out my census. And so, I was glad to say, yes, I have. And so I think it's just something that, we have to keep reminding folks, and time is of the essence. And I know a lot of times people will want to wait till, the last minute and, they think, well, I still have time, but let's not wait. Everybody that's out there, let's try and get this filled out as soon as possible. And, also the drive that Commissioner Hansen talked about. And also we're looking, I think the county is working on a drive for school supplies now that our kids are going back to school. And so that's just something that, I think that if we can help with it, it would be a very positive impact on our constituents and our community. So I appreciate that announcement, Commissioner Hansen. Commissioner Garcia?
No, thank you, sir.
Commissioner Hamilton?
No, but thank you both for mentioning that. So it's critically important. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hamilton. Commissioner Moreno?
Everybody have a good night.
You too, sir. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Hamilton and a second from Commissioner Moreno. All those in favor signify by saying bye. Bye.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.